Welcome to 2026. Hope you had an amazing new year, because I need to talk about something that just happened, and honestly, I'm still processing it. SpaceX closed out 2024 with 170 missions, 165 Falcon flights, 5 Starship tests. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, that's a lot of rockets. But wait. That number, just that one number, beats Apollo, Space Shuttle, and Gemini. Combined, all 3 programs, 60 years of NASA's greatest hits. We're talking about the missions that put 12 people on the moon, that built the ISS piece by piece, that defined what spaceflight even is. And a private company just did more in 12 months than all of that. So how is that even possible? And what does it mean for where we're headed? Let me break down these numbers, because when you actually look at them, it gets wild. 165 Falcon 9 launches in 2024. That's one every 2.2 days. Not weekly, not twice a month, every 2 days. Then add 5 Starship test flights on top of that. Now compare that to the legends. Apollo? 32 launches total, and that put 12 humans on another world. Space Shuttle? 135 missions over 30 years building the space station. Gemini? 12 flights learning how to spacewalk and dock in orbit. Add it all up, 179 launches that took 6 decades. SpaceX came within 9 launches of that in 1 year. And here's the part that keeps me awake. Those NASA programs had blank checks. Apollo cost over $200 billion in today's money. SpaceX did this while paying their own bills through commercial contracts. The question isn't just how they pulled it off, it's what happens now that they've proven it works. Let me tell you about Booster 1081. This thing just flew for its 21st time on January 3rd with an Italian satellite. 21 flights, same piece of hardware. Think about what that means. NASA would have built 21 brand new rockets from scratch. Saturn V? 1 flight straight to the museum. Space Shuttle? Months tearing apart and rebuilding the heat tiles after every mission. SpaceX lands this booster, checks it over, refuels it, flies it again. Sometimes in weeks. At $60 million per throwaway Falcon 9, this single booster has saved roughly $1.2 billion. That money goes straight into Starship development, Starlink expansion, next-gen hardware. But 2024 wasn't just about Falcon being mature. October's Flight 5 gave us the first super heavy catch, and I watched that live, those tower arms closing around a falling skyscraper. That moment changed everything. Because once Starship hits Falcon-level reusability, we're not talking 165 launches anymore. Starship lifts 100 to 150 tons versus Falcon's 22. That's not an upgrade. That's a whole different game, like jumping from propeller planes to jets. The rulebook gets rewritten. And they're moving fast. Version 3 Starship is already testing. Upgraded Raptors, structural tweaks from real flight data. At Starbase, they're swapping out tower arm actuators with bigger ones. You can literally see the diameter difference. The ship quick disconnect arm is coming together, with those cryogenic swivel joints already mounted on the tower. This iteration speed? Unheard of in aerospace. Now you might be wondering, how do they fund all this? The answer was sitting there all along. Starlink. In 2024, Falcon 9 launched over 3,800 satellites. Most of them? Starlink. The network hit 9 million users globally. That's generating north of $9 billion annually. SpaceX built themselves a customer that needs constant launches, and that customer pays them billions every year. It's beautiful, really. Every Starlink launch makes the network better. Better service gets more users. More users mean more money. More money funds more launches and better satellites. NASA could never build something like this. They didn't have the business model for it. Then this week, SpaceX announced something that caught me off guard. They're dropping 4,400 satellites from 550 kilometers down to 480 kilometers altitude, about half the constellation. First reaction? Wait, won't lower orbit mean more drag and shorter lifespans? Yes, and that's exactly the point. We're heading into solar minimum. Less solar activity means the upper atmosphere cools and contracts. Less natural drag on satellites. By lowering altitude, SpaceX compensates, making sure dead satellites still deorbit fast instead of becoming space junk for years. But the benefits stack up fast. Lower orbit means less latency. Your signal travels shorter distances. Tighter beam diameter means more customers per area without interference. At 480 kilometers, there's way less debris and fewer competing satellites, so collision risk drops significantly. What gets me, though? The operational complexity of actually doing this. Moving 4,400 satellites requires coordination with operators worldwide and the ability to launch replacements quickly whenever needed. The fact they can even execute this shows exactly where they are versus where everyone else is trying to catch up. Okay, so 2024 was historic. They beat 60 years of NASA in 12 months. But here's the thing. They're not maintaining this. They're accelerating. Their impact report before New Year's said they're doubling Starbase workforce from 4,000 to 8,000 employees by end of 2026. That's $13 billion going into local infrastructure, housing developments, support facilities. You don't build for 8,000 people to do what you're already doing. You build that when something much bigger is coming. The hardware backs this up. Ship transport stands in serial production. Second one done, third one started. New static fire stand at Massey's with way more testing capability than the old version 2 setup. The Star Factory, locals call it Gigabay, 3 levels up already, self-stacking cranes climbing without ground support. This is industrial infrastructure, production scale. I've covered this program for years, and version 3 Starship feels different to me. V1 and V2 were clearly learning how to build these things, fly them, catch them. V3 looks like the shift from prototype to production model. If they hit even 50% of Falcon's reliability over the next 18 months, we could see 250 missions in 2026. At 80% reliability, 300+ launches. Here's what worries me about the competition. Blue Origin is still working toward their first orbital flight. China did 67 launches in 2024, impressive by any normal standard, but not compared to 170. Europe's struggling with Ariane 6. Russia's numbers keep dropping. The gap's not closing. It's getting wider. And Starship isn't even operational yet. When it is, when SpaceX flies Starship like they fly Falcon, the entire economic model of space access collapses and rebuilds around whatever price they decide to charge. If fully reusable Starship costs $10 million per launch, Putting 100 tons up suddenly costs less than launching 22 tons on Falcon. That's not competition anymore. That's making everyone else's hardware obsolete, including their own Falcon 9. 20 years I've been covering spaceflight. What's happening right now doesn't match any pattern I've seen before. We've never watched a space program scale this fast. Never seen one company stack up this much capability, infrastructure, and experience all at once. SpaceX didn't just beat NASA's 60-year legacy in 2024. They proved that legacy was a ceiling, and now they're treating it like a floor. 2026 is going to show us what the new ceiling looks like. So that's where we are. SpaceX didn't just break records in 2024, they fundamentally changed what's possible. Beating Apollo, Shuttle, and Gemini combined isn't a milestone. It's proof that space access shifted from government program to industrial capability. And we're just getting started. If 170 launches shocked everyone, 2026 is going to be wild. Version 3 Starship's almost ready. Workforce doubling. Infrastructure scaling. We're watching exploration become industry in real time, and I honestly don't think most people have grasped what that means yet. If this breakdown was valuable to you, hit that like button and subscribe to New Space Review. You don't want to miss what comes next, trust me. Drop a comment. Can SpaceX hit 250 launches in 2026? Will Starship development take longer? I read every comment and your thoughts often spark my next videos. The real competition isn't about launch numbers anymore. That video on screen about the moon race? While SpaceX owns Earth orbit, China's making moves with nuclear power that could change who controls cislunar space. You need to see this. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.